Memories retire, we set them free, shaking the ground with epiphany. Fresh thinking loud, it's our decree. Unconventional wisdom dancing on the beat.
Hey there, Kim Miller-Hershon. You are listening to Unconventional Wisdom about conventional wisdom. And I'm going to do something unconventional today. Really, for the first time, I did a little intro, which you might have listened to, just about the podcast. All the other episodes that I've done have been interviewing somebody. And I had something happen last week that I thought was something that I wanted to share a little bit about myself. And we on the podcast always talk about imposter syndrome and what are the things that you wrestle with. And something came up for me and I wanted to share it with you because hopefully it will be valuable for you and you'll get to know me a little bit better. And I always think it's interesting at this point that I am a business coach and I am often coaching on not just time management, priorities, delegation, all the leadership things, leading better, managing better, but also what do you think, right? What do you think? What do you believe? And how do you need to shift that in order to be a better leader and a better human, right? And so here's what happened for me. I was reflecting. I happened to have had a birthday and I'm Jewish and it was the Jewish New Year. Those two things actually happened on the same day for me. So a definite new year. I was over at my son and his partner, Emily. I was at their house. They made me this incredible Mediterranean feast that was not to be believed. And then Emily baked a fabulous cake and I felt very celebrated. And Emily said to me, "So Kim, David just told me that you wrote a book." And I said, "Yes, I did." And then she says to the rest of my kids, "Did you know that she wrote a book?" And they're like, "No, we just found out in the last couple of weeks." And I've been writing this book for at least the last 9 months. And I find it very curious that I never mentioned it to my family because you will not be surprised to hear I talk a lot and I share a lot. And my husband knew, but evidently I never told my kids. But I just think it's interesting. It's a big accomplishment. It's a big thing. And I never even mentioned it, which is curious. I have been talking to publishers. And originally, my team and I, when we were talking about it, thought, okay, we'll just self-publish. And then we started to get some contacts and talk to editors and so forth. And then realized that we maybe want to play a bigger game with this book and get it published and get distribution into bookstores and airport kiosks and Barnes and Noble and Target and so forth. And then I was talking about, I want somebody famous to write the foreword for the book. And I was getting really excited about playing this bigger game and getting outside my comfort zone. And my kids were just like, and my husband were like, "You go." And I'm like, oh my God, I just have so much to say. And the book, by the way, is about unconventional wisdom. It's some of the things that we talk about, but it's really my take on all of these things that we think are supposed to make us successful. And anyways, I'm not here really to tell you about the book as much as I am really to tell you about my experience. So I was so excited when I was talking about it. And then I was recalling the conversation in my mind. And a couple of things came up. So the first thing that came up was, oh my God, I said all that out loud. I said all that out loud, and what happens if nobody buys the book? What happens if I could have just self-published it and there is no bigger play for this? And just all the self-doubt. Oh God, you don't need to hear all the things that went through my mind, but I think it's very interesting. For me, the imposter syndrome or the self-doubt doesn't come in about what I have to say, because that I feel very confident in. And listen, I've coached probably over 500 people at this point, and these are all the things that I use. Like this thought leadership was developed through all the coaching that I've done. And I also use it on myself. So I know that when it hits the right audience, it's game changing and life changing. And I believe 100% in it. It's not, everything I have to say is not for everyone. And there are certainly people who would disagree with me. And I'm really okay with that. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I think that self-doubt is very personal. It comes from a couple of different things. For me, what feels difficult is, I think, saying that I'm going to play a really big game, and then the what if it doesn't happen, I think, is part of it. And then the other interesting part of this is that where I am very confident, like I said, in the thought leadership, I feel like sometimes I hold myself back and I don't play as big a game as I could because of my own self-doubt. Or maybe you don't know the Marianne Williamson poem, and I can't quote it directly, but it's, I think we sometimes fear success more than we fear failure. And for a lot of us, failure is a friend. We may be disappointed, but we know how to deal with that. Sometimes I think it's much more difficult to reach your dreams and to handle that. And we hear so often in the news, for instance, here in the United States, lottery winners, and even some professional athletes who make gazillions of dollars, and even as a lottery winner, like it's just instantaneous millionaire or multimillionaire, and how so many of them lose all of the money because being in a safe space is easy. Stepping up to a new level can sometimes be very intimidating and very challenging. And I think that's what I was faced against. And I don't know, you might find this interesting, you might not, but I am very comfortable speaking. I'm comfortable now talking to you. I love being on a stage and speaking. Here's what I don't love. I don't love promoting myself. I am happy to promote the thinking. I just wish it didn't have to be that I had to tell people to read it, listen to the podcast, and so forth. The podcast is easier because I can say in really authentically, listen to the podcast because I am interviewing somebody who is brilliant and you should hear what they have to say. It's very different to say, read my book because I have something to say. And there's such a dichotomy there because I'm like, no, I have something to say. If it unlocks something for you, like, I want that. Listen, I am a coach at heart, right? I want you to grow, and I want to grow. I just don't want to have to say, listen to me, come to my thing. I don't know. I'm just babbling on here, but it's a place of huge discomfort for me. I am really making myself step into it. And I wanted to share that with you. That is a place of excitement and self-doubt, and they can both coexist. That in this instance, I am willing to feel the fear and do it anyway. I am willing to take the risk that the book won't get the distribution or the accolades, or I don't actually really need the accolades. What I really want is the distribution, right? I want people to get the information and the value that's in the book. And I don't know, stay tuned. Maybe somebody famous will do a forward, maybe they won't, but I'm going to go full out on this. And I'll keep you updated as it comes out. As right now, we're thinking that the book should come out next year, sometime, maybe summer or fall of next year. The book is written, but once you submit it to the publisher, then it goes through developmental editing and a whole variety of other things. But I will tell you one thing very exciting that happened today is that we've gotten some proposals from publishers who like the concept of the book, but haven't read the book. And today I got a invitation from a publisher to meet with him, and he has the manuscript. So this is the first person who's actually read the book who has said, I would like to talk to you about publishing the book. And that, I think maybe that was like the validation that I needed, was like, oh, okay, game on. We're here to play. Yeah, I don't know. Stay tuned. But I think I said this before. I think I just want to reiterate it, that I think that maybe in the past, I feel like I have my disdain for promoting myself has overpowered my desire to have whatever it is that I want from doing these things. Whether it's promoting a program that I'm doing, or starting the podcast, or the book, anything, I feel like I have a much bigger game to play because I have a point of view. And I've coached enough people at this point that I do know that people need to hear this. You need permission to forge your own path and to not put barriers in your way. And that's why I wanted to share this with you today. And I think also too, publicly declaring that I'm moving forward with this really, I think, is also showing myself that I'm going to do this. And it'll be as big as it is, and it can be, and I'm going to put the resources into it to do it professionally and to give it its best shot, and then let the future happen. I read or saw a little video recently, because what do we read? I saw it on Instagram, so I clearly didn't read it. Somebody saying that the context was a little different, but this was advice that a therapist had given her, and it gives me chill bumps. I'm curious if it's going to give you chill bumps. Is that don't worry about what is going to happen in the future and how you're going to handle it and what you're going to do with it, because your future self will know. Isn't that amazing? It literally gives me chill bumps when I say that. I can even just say to myself, Kim, you don't need to worry about what happens with the book. You just need to be in the game. And then you'll see, right? You'll see if it's a big thing, it's not a big thing. It's an accomplishment to write a book. And it was hard fought and hard won. And if it's big and successful, like I want it to be, then my future self will be able to step into that success and capitalize on it. If it doesn't have legs and it isn't a major success, I wrote a book. And my future self will be able to frame that and contextualize that and be excited for the accomplishment of doing it. Oh, that's what I have for you today. If this is meaningful to you, share it. Hopefully this resonates with you and you go out there and step into something that feels scary to you. Let me know what your experience is with this as well, because this is a big one. I have a feeling I'm not alone on this one. So you let me know what you think. And this is Kim Miller-Hershon. You're listening to Unconventional Wisdom about conventional wisdom. Go out there and be a better human.
Cliches retire, we set them free. Shaking the ground with epiphany. Fresh thinking loud, it's our decree. Unconventional wisdom dancing on the beat.